You're listening to the Profit Connections podcast. Entrepreneurs and franchise owners, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking to create a rock-solid business, sick of being stuck on the plateau, and ready to kick it up more than just a notch, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Sharon Galuzzo, and I believe in unleashing your full potential to create resilient, successful businesses that in turn make significant positive impacts in our world. Welcome to the Profit Connections podcast. Welcome to the Profit Connections podcast. We are so glad that you're here. And today we are going to dig into some really fun things. Think spaghetti, think profitability, think all things amazing, as we have Stephanie O'Brien here today. And I am going to ask Stephanie, the amazing Stephanie. Can't see, if you are not watching a video, you can't see her screen, and she's got these beautiful blues and greens going on, and I'm totally vibing with this feeling. And so, Stephanie, if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it. What's your why?
My why is that as somebody who's been a client of several coaches, I love how they're trying to be their best selves, live their best lives, and help them make the world a better place. I think pretty much everyone could use coaching. I've personally seen my life transformed by it. But so many coaches, they aren't reaching as many people as they want, and which means a lot of people aren't getting the benefits of the coaching, and they're struggling with problems for years that could have been solved so much faster with a coach. So I want these amazing coaches to be able to live happier, better, more successful lives, and I want their clients to have access to this coaching that could transform their lives and the lives of the people around them, their lives of their children, the lives of everyone touched by this ripple effect. So that's my why for helping coaches to, quickly and easily turn their expertise into a life-changing coaching program that sells.
That's amazing. And getting in touch with that expertise, that's across the board for every business owner. Every business owner is an expert in what they do. It's the pieces around that they might not be an expert in. And so I love that you're going to talk about how to pull that expertise out and what to do with it.
Thank you. So, would you like me to just start with a few strategies that I use for that?
Oh, yay. Right into the strategies. Yes. Let's start with the strategies. What's the first thing that you like to work with people on?
Well, the first thing I work with people on is it depends on what they need at the time. One thing that I help people do when they're trying to turn their expertise into a coaching program, or even just pull out their expertise that they need to, say, create social media contents, to better sell their services, to better explain, say, if you're a business owner who sells physical products, to better explain which products the client needs and what they should, buy and why. So the first step I always take is to, in your head, whether in your head or on paper, preferably on paper or on the screen, list all the steps that your clients need to take to get the result they want. And this is just a high-level list of the steps. You don't want to go into super great detail right now. You'll do that later. But just list the steps in chronological order. It's a really good, simple way to turn that big, amorphous spaghetti pile of information in your head into a really clear outline. Then now you're no longer staring at a blank screen that chases all your thoughts into the back of your head. You've got this really clear, easy to use stepping stone.
That is really brilliant, because so many of times you are staring at a blank piece of paper or a blank screen, or I've got to do a social media post, or I've got to, whatever it is, to actually take it out and write it down step by step. And now there's something that's just so brilliant that now that it's not blank anymore. And you've actually done the work of getting it out of your head and systematized it in writing without really trying to. And you're just writing down what you know. And sometimes we get so caught up in the forest for the trees. Like, we are so caught up in what we know, we can't see it. So I think that's just so brilliant and so simple to just write it down. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really helps with people who are so highly educated and so used to their own field of expertise. They forget how much they know. They forget just all these details about what they know. They forget that they are experts. Sometimes you can start to feel like you're not that smart, not that qualified, not that valuable. And this helps to remind you, this is just a perceptive reminding yourself just how much you actually know. If you want, I could give the next few steps in that process if you feel it would be helpful.
Yeah. Give us the next step. So after we pull everything out of our heads, we write it down step by step. Now we have a visual, we have a path. So what do we do with that next?
The next step is to take step one and break it down into sub-steps. Let's say you're a relationship coach and you help single men to meet and marry the woman of their dreams. So step one might be to figure out what kind of woman you want to date. So you might go into the steps for that, how to, maybe have, say, a questionnaire or a checklist, how to figure out what you want for yourself versus what society tells you to want. What kind of lifestyle do you want to have with her? What values do you share? Do you want to have kids or not? How to break it down into steps of how do you figure out what you want in your ideal partner. And if any of those steps is not completely self-explanatory in and of itself, and I'm talking so self-explanatory that if an alien who had never even heard of Earth dating culture was reading this checklist, they'd know exactly what to do. So if any of those sub-steps is not that self-explanatory, you break it down into further steps. And by doing this, so this is where the real gold, the real magic happens, because this is a simple, systematized way to draw out all the information in your head and to really remind yourself, as you break it down into sub-steps and then break each sub-step down, you really get a view of just how detailed, how deep, how intimate your knowledge of this is. And you can kind of stop and look at it and say, wow, how many of these do my clients actually already know? And how many are they currently missing that they need me to teach them? Because remember, you don't have to be the biggest expert in the world to be an expert who can change lives. You just need to be the biggest expert in the average room. You just need to know more than your ideal clients.
That's awesome. And my brain is just like exploding as you're going through this because I'm a systems person. So you're singing my song right now, talking about systematizing and doing all of this. And what also came to mind is not only are you writing down your expertise, not only are you getting it out and getting clarity and figuring out the steps and the systems and putting all of that into place. Even if we stopped at step number 2, do you know how powerful a marketing document you just created?
Right? So much content in one place.
You could take all of those things and have enough content for social media, for newsletters, for emails, for advertisements, whatever you're doing, just on your expertise alone. Wow. That my mind is just blown. That's awesome.
Thank you. That was helpful.
Yeah. So do you want to give us another step? Can we get a step number 3?
Sure. A very important step number 3 is include examples. For one thing, the human brain is wired to understand stories. Mm-hmm. And for another, sometimes when it's just an abstract concept, it can be hard to actually picture yourself doing it in real life. And it's so important for clients to be able to picture themselves actually doing this in real life. So give them examples and make sure in any case where they might look at a step and think, oh, I don't know if I really need this step, or I don't know why I need to do it that way. Tell them why they're doing it that way. This is especially important when you're giving them scripts to follow, because for one thing, the script might feel kind of unnatural to them. And if it feels awkward for them to send, it feels awkward for the other person to receive. So if you explain to them the principles behind what they're doing, for one thing, they're more motivated to do it. And for another, especially in the cases of scripts and stuff that you're teaching them, it gives them the tools to personalize it and make it sound authentic and to avoid sounding canned like some LinkedIn profiles I've seen, but without losing the effectiveness.
Yeah, that's great. And having that picture and helping them visualize, that's great for visual learners. And then you have the stories. Everything that we know, if it were told in a story song, people will remember that. They'll remember the journey that person took, the way that story made them feel, and then they're more connected to the why of doing that step. So, and it could be, well, the reason you want to do step number 3 is this is going to help you, upsell, and this is going to help you make more money. That might be enough of an explanation of why, or this is going to get them in touch with what is their problem and how can my solution meet that problem and make it a solution for them. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. And I think that is really a very, what's the word? Genius
Thank you.
way of looking at the motivation, because you're right. Sometimes we're like, well, we should do this. We're supposed to do it. It's the next thing on the list or it's on the script, but I don't want to do it. And so why should I do it that way? And, the why should I do it that way? That's just putting resistance between you and the goal. So breaking down that resistance and explaining that is really, really brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that.
It's great to overcome objections before they even happen.
Absolutely, 100%. If you can overcome the objection before they have it, answer the things that are going on in their head, you're going to calm them down. And instead of being in that like reptilian brain, that blah, 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 they're going to be, you've already cleared those clouds away. And now they can sink down into, well, what are you actually offering me? And does that solve my problem? And how can I work with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Stephanie has a gift for our audience today. And Stephanie, would you like to tell us about that gift?
Sure. It's a guidebook called How to Pick a Coaching Topic That Sells. So if you are wondering how to quickly tell which of your areas of expertise or which aspect of your areas of expertise people are actually primed to pay you for, how to discover what your ideal clients need that other coaches aren't already giving them, even if these are problems the ideal clients aren't openly talking about on social media or in public, and how to start a conversation that can lead to sales without being salesy, without being one of those people who shows up in the DMs and people immediately go, oh, one of these people. How to be welcome instead of annoying. Yeah. So if you want to know how to do that, feel free to pick up your copy of How to Pick a Coaching Program or How to Pick a Coaching Topic That Sells. I'm going to put this link in the chat so it can be included with the interview.
Awesome. So what we're going to do, as you know, Profit Connectors, we have our Profit Connectors Club, and we are going to put Stephanie's a free gift there. We're going to put a bio about Stephanie and all information on how you can connect with her. And that's profitconnectors.club, CLUB. And we'll have all of that information in the show notes. And I want to thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here and sharing this wisdom with us. I think that you have a really concrete and visual way of communicating what needs to be done that can be really accessible. And I thank you for sharing that with our audience today. And is there any parting words that you'd like to share?
Yeah, if anybody needs additional help to create their coaching program, I'd love to talk with you. I believe my links will be there with the interview. So even if you've gotten partway through the process and found yourself stuck, maybe you're procrastinating, maybe you've got too many ideas and can't choose between them, maybe you feel like you don't have enough content even after doing this exercise and you're trying to figure out what to include, I'd love to have a talk with you. Just no strings, no pressure, 20 minutes talk, just to get to know you and see how I can solve your problems. So I look forward to talking with you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was so generous. I hope that you will take her up on her generous offer. Thank you for joining us for Profit Connections podcast, and we'll see you next time. Hey, Profit Connectors, that's it for another Profit Connections podcast. If you're ready to make moves and connections that take your business to the next level and get your gifts and resources, head over to the website profitconnectors.club. That's profitconnectors.club and get your goodies right now.